and I was once a classroom teacher. And I am currently someone who runs a scholarship program for undocumented college students. And in the spring, I will be launching a program that will support middle and high school students in Aurora who are recent immigrants or children of immigrants in finding power in their immigrant narratives. Pardon my folder. I have not yet memorized my monologue. I often hear that the only way to get people to care about my struggles as an undocumented woman is to ask them to imagine me as their daughter or their sister. But I have my own parents and siblings, and my mere humanity deserves respect. I was taught at school in this country that my contributions to society are all that should matter. So I've done everything in my power to be at the top of my class, to get into a good college, to volunteer, work hard, pay taxes, to prove I'm worthy. And I am worthy, with or without all that effort, even though I often get treated quite literally like an alien, or essentially criminal, simply because I don't have an official document calling me a citizen. I also want you to know that I am proud of my Mexican identity, even though it took me almost 2 decades to embrace it. You see, from ages 5 to 18, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, a place where an anti-immigrant sheriff named Joe Arpaio ruled. He put undocumented Mexican immigrants in chain gang shackles. He made the men wear pink underwear to humiliate them. He literally celebrated spending less money on his inmates than on his dog. And this was somehow acceptable. I grew up constantly striving to prove that I wasn't dirty, lazy, criminal, or shameful, that I wasn't worth less than a dog. I now finally have a sense of my own value. So to feel my life under attack and you do nothing? It's like my humanity doesn't matter. And that baffles me. It's just inconceivable that the very ground is falling away under my feet and I could be deported, put into a detention center, separated from my family, lose my job, my mortgage, and all I've built. And somehow you, my friends, neighbors, people at the coffee shop, you sitting here in this audience, don't see my situation as urgent and get up and do something about it. My entire community of documented and undocumented people is under attack everywhere, left and right, day after day, and it seems you think you've done enough simply by liking my article on Facebook? Sad crying face, maybe even angry face. You think you've done enough by staying caught up on the news so you have something to lament at the dinner table? My life is not a talking point. My life is not something you can use to uplift your liberal agenda. And don't you dare pity me or send me your prayers. Do something. Call your senators, your immigrant-phobic family, show up at an immigrant rights meeting. Because every day that you don't take action is another day that the status quo prevails. And the status quo is painful, even if I still have my family intact. Because it hurts, physically, emotionally, mentally, that you don't care enough to give your time and effort to help me and your fellow human beings. Because while you go about your business, your health goals and gratitude posts, those of us on the front lines of the Trump administration's attacks are fighting against the limited hours in a day because there's never enough time to go to our 60-hour jobs and go to meeting after meeting, plan events, protests, teach-ins, fundraisers, pouring our energy from what quickly becomes an empty cup. And somehow, at the same time, it's still our job to educate you on how our life depends on your voice, your vote, your money, and your willingness to show up. It's not like I enjoy the fact that I need you, but I do. And I'm exhausted from pulling your weight and begging you to act like a citizen in a democracy. And because you aren't pulling your weight, my mental health is suffering. Because I need rest too. But right now, I'm afraid that if I don't go to that extra meeting, if I don't share that petition, if I don't convince everyone that this is urgent, then more people will get deported, sometimes sent to their death, and another family will be torn apart. You see, it's urgent for us all the time. And someplace deep inside you, you must know it's urgent too. You must. So please, just for a moment, pause, breathe. Can you see me? I'm afraid. I'm afraid that in the end, no matter how much I've fought for others, I won't be able to save my own family from deportation. Have you seen the pictures from the borders? Innocent families with young children and elders, tear-gassed for seeking refuge in our country. Do you know what is happening across our nation, across our state? Hard-working immigrants, good parents just like mine, locked away like criminals in detention centers. Young children separated from their parents in these terrible tent camps, exposed to abuse and dying from dehydration and untreated infections. Do you see a war? Do you at least see the semblance to concentration camps? Can you feel your own heart telling you it is urgent? Please listen to your heart, not just for me or for the undocumented community, but for your own humanity too. Please, it's urgent.